All right, guys, we're going to get right to it. The consumer database, how to opt out before you start disputing. So, if you guys need to schedule a call, you guys can click here and schedule a call with me. But I have put together this spreadsheet so you guys will be able to easily opt out of all of these third party data furnishing companies that provide your personal information to companies like the credit bureaus. Okay. They share your information without your permission unless you opt out or freeze your record with that particular company. I highly recommend that you guys freeze your records prior to disputing negative accounts that you wish to have removed off of your credit reports with the three major credit bureaus, which would be Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. I do not recommend that you guys freeze your credit reports with Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. I do recommend that you keep those open because of the fact that you will be disputing things and you want the negatives to come off, and you're also going to be building positive credit to help increase your credit score. So, as you can see, there are about 18 of the top furnishing companies on here. I'm not going to go through all of them, but I will go through a couple of the most important ones that we would consider to be high priority. The first is ARS. Advanced Resolution Services. You can click on their website and it will take you directly to their website. And they house a lot of information about inquiries and bankruptcies. The next one here is Clarity Services. You can also click this form. It will take you to a PDF that you will need to fill out and you can submit back. If you do not want to fill out the PDF because you already have completed your opt out sample, um, freeze letter that you can send to all of the consumer databases, then you can certainly do this one as well. I have made this simple opt out sample letter for you guys that you'll need to just plug in your personal information. You do need your first name and last name. You need your address. You need your city, state, and zip code because they will be communicating with you by mail to this address that you have listed on your letter. You need to list out your full social security number. Again, you need to list out your full social security number when you are requesting to freeze your records with this company because there might be another person with a similar social security number or name. So they have to verify your identity. Addition to that, you'll need your date of birth and phone number. You will also need to include a photo identification. If your photo ID does not have the correct address, you will need to put a copy of your photo ID in addition to a proof of residency, which can be a utility bill, a bank statement, any type of statement that is mailed to you at that particular address that would prove that you get mail there. In addition to those two documents, your ID and proof of residency, you want to attach a copy of your social security number. Yes, a copy of your social security card. So that way there is no delaying freezing your records. Okay. Type in your first and last name. Do not sign. Again, do not sign. Type in your signature. Back to the opt out list here. The next bureau that we have, and I did forget to mention that Clarity is actually owned by Experian. So they report a lot of information in regards to personal loans, rent, consumers within credit files, consumers that have store credit cards. So they're pretty powerful. The next we have is number 6 with CoreLogic. CoreLogic, they are pretty popular and when it comes to property evictions, child support, rental application, criminal records, court records. So it's highly important that you opt out of them. And this is their website here where you can go ahead and keep in mind, folks, if you do not want to go through their website and go and do it online, you can mail the opt out sample letter to all of the addresses that we have listed here and that might save you some time. If you're one of those people that prefers to go online and do everything that way, that's perfectly fine. But if you have some stamps to spare, I highly recommend just printing out the request forms, because not all of these locations or not all of these facilities will allow you to opt out online. Sometimes you do have to do things the old school way, which is actually send a request in writing. The next company that we have here is Early Warning Systems. They report a lot of information about checking accounts, bank accounts, bad checks, things of that nature. So you do want to be very cautious. While we are talking about banking and checks, we can talk about check systems. I do not recommend that you opt out of check systems. It has no bearing on you disputing negative items with the credit bureau. Check systems is the credit reporting agency that reports to banks and banks only. When you go and open up a new bank account, they are going to pull your check systems report. So if you have bad information on your check systems report, you will need to dispute that information as well. Check systems is governed by the FCRA, so there is no difference in that regard. You can literally use the same letters that you would use to dispute negative information with the three major credit bureaus, which again are Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. So, going down the list here, we come to Innovis. They used to be what we would consider the fourth credit bureau, but they do not provide credit scores. So they were very popular up into the late 90s, and they were used to do a lot of pre approved offers. So now they are not a big bureau. So we want to opt out of their data information so it cannot be shared with anybody. The next is Intellis, that they are definitely a sneaky one. The next here is LexisNexis. And I know a lot of you have probably heard of LexisNexis because they are really popular when it comes to collection companies. Collection companies use LexisNexis to track you down. Anytime you're wondering how somebody found you, they probably have a LexisNexis account. And LexisNexis works with a lot of collection companies, skip tracing companies, things of that nature. So you guys can read through a little bit about LexisNexis, but they are really important to opt out because they hold a lot of information in regard to bankruptcies, court records, things of that nature. So definitely opt out of LexisNexis if you are trying to get any bankruptcies or court information off of your credit report. I would also dispute that information directly with LexisNexis because they are a data furnishing company. That means that they are still governed by the FCRA, and that means that they still have to follow the right laws. And if they can't prove it, they have to remove it. So always roll back to that thought process. If they can't prove it, they have to remove it. The next one that we have here is the opt out pre screen. We do not want to be listed in opt out pre screen because this is how companies like Capital One will send us letters in the mail saying that we have been pre approved for their product, knowing damn well that we're probably not approved, but they are pulling our credit via soft pull, not hard pull, and it's all because opt out is allowing them to do so. So we want to opt out of the pre-screen here, and that should prevent you from getting all of those tempting offers in the mail saying that you've been pre-approved or pre-selected to get that particular credit card. The last but definitely not least that we have here is SageStream. So SageStream is a pretty powerful data furnishing company as well, and I would definitely consider them to be powerful, and I always recommend that you guys opt out as soon as possible. Below here are some employment databases that you can opt out of in case you have issues with backgrounds, backgroundchecks.com. You never gave them permission to share your information, and that is an invasion of your privacy. So please opt out of these databases. The last one that we have down here is the tenant screening information. Again, we have a CoreLogic rental solutions down here. So, again, guys, highly recommend that you opt out so your personal information isn't being shared and your privacy isn't invaded. Again, Nicole Scott here, guys. If you want to know more, join creditclass.online. Again, creditclass.online, where you can find all of your credit repair class information so you can have a successful journey on your credit repair solution.